Delve into one book daily, and today we're diving into Pride and Prejudice. Haven't you ever labeled someone based solely on a first impression, only to later realize those preconceived judgments were just a cage woven by your own biases? Or perhaps, in relationships, you've put on a disguise to fit others' expectations, let pride keep you from apologizing, and ultimately missed out on a connection that could have warmed both of your lives? All too often, we let arrogance blind us to the truth and let prejudice hold us back, losing sincerity and blurring our original intentions in the push and pull between self and others. As Jane Austen's most renowned work, Pride and Prejudice was born in the 19th century England, but has transcended over 2 centuries to pinpoint the struggles modern people face in relationships and self-perception. It's not just a love story. It's a mirror reflecting human nature, letting us see our own shadows in the fates of others. The protagonist of the system, Elizabeth Bennet, is the second of the 5 Bennet sisters. In rural England at that time, families without male heirs would have their property passed down to distant relatives, meaning the Bennet sisters could only escape poverty by marrying wealthy men. This was Elizabeth's inherent predicament, yet she defied the era's expectations for women. Unlike her gentle and forbearing older sister Jane, or her vain and impulsive younger sisters, Elizabeth was intelligent, independent, and loved reading. She had her own judgments and convictions, firmly believing that marriage should be built on mutual respect and genuine affection, not a transaction of property and status. "I will never marry for money. Such a marriage is meaningless. I would rather remain single for life than settle for someone I don't love." This was Elizabeth's most steadfast inner monologue, her anchor against the prejudices of her time. The story begins when Mr. Bingley, a wealthy landowner, arrives at Netherfield Park with his friend Mr. Darcy, setting off a round of social gatherings and igniting the spark of Pride and Prejudice. Mr. Bingley is kind and approachable, quickly falling for the gentle and beautiful Jane. But Mr. Darcy, hailing from a noble family with immense wealth, exuded an air of detachment. Tall and handsome, he remained cold and distant throughout, refusing to engage much with the local gentry. When Bingley suggested he dance with Elizabeth, Darcy even remarked, "She is not handsome enough to tempt me." Elizabeth overheard this, and it stung like a thorn in her heart. He's just relying on his wealth and status to look down on everyone. Such an arrogant and rude man is unworthy of respect, no matter how much he has. Elizabeth silently judged Darcy, and prejudice took root from that first impression. At this point, she couldn't see the sincerity beneath his cold exterior. She only felt her pride wounded by his casual arrogance. For Darcy, though he'd noticed Elizabeth's wit and vitality, he suppressed his admiration because he disapproved of Mrs. Bennet's vanity and rudeness, her younger daughter's frivolity, and Elizabeth's unapologetic stubbornness. His arrogance was essentially a barrier forged by class consciousness, an instinctive rejection of the world's superficiality. After the ball, the Bennet family's social life grew livelier, but the shadow of prejudice loomed larger. The arrival of Mr. Wickham only deepened Elizabeth's misunderstanding of Darcy. Wickham was charming and eloquent, quickly winning over everyone around him. He deliberately played the victim to Elizabeth, lying that Darcy had stripped him of a deserved clergyman's position out of jealousy and treated him cruelly. Mr. Darcy has always been selfish, caring only for his own reputation and interests, with no regard for others. "I grew up with him. I know his true character better than anyone," Wickham said. His words confirmed Elizabeth's existing opinion of Darcy, and her dislike intensified. She even felt repulsed at the mention of his name. Elizabeth's prejudice stemmed from her commitment to her self-respect and her sensitivity to hypocrisy. In a rigidly stratified society, she longed for equality and genuine human connection. Darcy's arrogance stood in stark contrast to Wickham's tenderness, pushing her naturally to oppose Darcy. She got lost in her own version of truth, refusing to give Darcy a chance to explain or reflect on whether she was being deceived by appearances. It's like us today. Sometimes, a single accidental conflict or a careless word is enough to label someone as untrustworthy, building a wall of prejudice that blocks any chance of deeper understanding. Meanwhile, the relationship between Bingley and Jane hit a snag due to Darcy's interference. Darcy believed Jane's feelings for Bingley were insincere, merely a desire for wealth. Fearing the Bennet family's questionable conduct would harm Bingley's reputation in future, he persuaded Bingley to leave Netherfield Park and end contact with Jane. Bingley, already indecisive, finally yielded to Darcy's repeated urging. When Jane learned of Bingley's departure, her heart was shattered, but she masked her sorrow with calm, bearing the loss in silence. "He may never have truly loved me. It was all just my wishful thinking." Jane's heart was filled with grievance and self-doubt. Her gentleness became a cage, preventing her from confiding her pain or fighting for what she wanted. Jane's forbearance and Elizabeth's stubbornness stood in sharp contrast, reflecting the passive role women played in love at that time. Darcy's actions, though arrogant, were also sincere. He didn't mean to tear the couple apart. He acted out of concern for his friend. But that concern, tangled with class prejudice and subjective judgment, ultimately led to misunderstanding. Watching Bingley mope after leaving Jane and seeing Elizabeth's hostility toward him due to misunderstanding, Darcy's heart stirred. He gradually realized that Elizabeth's stubbornness and sincerity were exactly what he lacked. Unshackled by class and wealth, she had an independent personality and clear self-awareness, a unique charm he couldn't resist. Finally, Darcy set aside his arrogance and proposed to Elizabeth. Yet the proposal was fraught with tension. He openly expressed his disdain for the Bennet family, claiming he was proposing against his better judgment, his words still dripping with aristocratic superiority. "I know your family background is far beneath mine, and your relatives are quite disagreeable, but I cannot control my feelings for you. I am willing to overlook all that and marry you." Darcy's proposal was less a declaration of love and more an act of charity, and it enraged Elizabeth. Elizabeth's pent-up resentment erupted. She snapped at Darcy. "Who do you think you are? How dare you judge my family based on your status? How dare you treat this proposal as a favor? You tore Jane and Bingley apart, and you've treated Mr. Wickham cruelly. Your arrogance and selfishness sicken me. I would never marry you, even if you were the last man on earth." In that moment, Elizabeth's eyes were firm and her voice resolute. Her pride would not let her accept a proposal rooted in contempt. Darcy, stung to the core by her words, had never imagined his actions would have such severe consequences, nor realized how deeply his arrogance had hurt others. "I thought I was looking out for my friend, thought I was overcoming class differences to give you happiness. But in your eyes, I'm utterly despicable." Darcy's heart was filled with shock and despair. He left in silence, without a word of defense. After the failed proposal, Darcy wrote Elizabeth a letter, a turning point in their relationship that uncovered the truth. In the letter, Darcy honestly explained his feud with Wickham. Wickham had been his father's ward, and before his father's death, he'd left Wickham a fortune to become a clergyman. But Wickham, greedy for pleasure, abandoned the clergy, squandered the money, and even tried to elope with Darcy's 15-year-old sister to acquire more money. As for Jane and Bingley's separation, Darcy admitted his mistake, apologizing that he'd misjudged Jane's reserve as lack of affection, and feared the Bennet family's influence would ruin Bingley's happiness, leading him to meddle in their relationship. Reading the letter, Elizabeth was overwhelmed by shock, shame, and remorse. "I've been deceived by appearances all along, confusing hypocrisy with sincerity, kindness with malice. I judged Darcy repeatedly based on my own prejudice, even said such harsh words to him. I'm the arrogant and ignorant one." She reread the letter, recalling past details. Darcy, though cold, had always upheld his principles and treated others sincerely. Wickham, though gentle-seeming, had always spoken of wealth with longing, his demeanor hiding shallowness. She finally understood that her so-called, while critical judgment was nothing but self-satisfaction blinded by pride and prejudice. It's like us now. Sometimes we cling stubbornly to our opinions, refusing to admit we're wrong, until the truth stares us in the face and we realize how far we've strayed down the path of bias. To verify Darcy's words, Elizabeth traveled to Pemberley, Darcy's estate. There, she saw a completely different side of him. He was kind to his servants, attentive to his sister, and highly respected by the villagers. Darcy's housekeeper told Elizabeth, "Mr. Darcy is a very kind man. He often helps the poor in the village and is deeply devoted to his family. He just doesn't show his feelings easily, so he seems cold on the surface." As Elizabeth wandered Pemberley's gardens, sunlight filtered through the leaves, and a breeze carried the scent of grass. Looking at the peaceful, elegant estate, she seemed to glimpse the tenderness and sincerity in Darcy's heart. "I've misunderstood him all this time. His arrogance was just a mask. Deep down, he's pure and kind." Elizabeth's heart softened, her dislike turning to guilt, and then to something more. Yet fate had one more test in store. Elizabeth's youngest sister Lydia, driven by vanity, eloped with Wickham. In that era, a woman eloping was a terrible scandal. It would ruin her reputation and taint the entire family, making it impossible for her sisters to marry. The Bennet family was thrown into crisis. Mrs. Bennet cried endlessly, and Mr. Bennet was helpless. Elizabeth was consumed with anxiety, worrying about Lydia's safety and fearing the family's ruin. She dared not imagine what Darcy would think of her family if he found out. Just as Elizabeth despaired, Darcy stepped in silently. Learning of the elopement, he dropped everything to search for Lydia and Wickham. Once he found them, he paid a large sum of money to force Wickham to marry Lydia and arranged a home for them, quashing the scandal entirely. Darcy did all this without telling Elizabeth. He didn't want her to feel indebted, to accept him out of gratitude rather than love. "I only want her to be safe, for her family to get through this. As for me, I'll be content just watching her be happy from afar." Darcy's heart was filled with quiet devotion. He'd let go of all his arrogance, willing to give everything for the woman he loved. Later, Elizabeth learned the truth from her aunt, and her emotions overflowed. She finally understood that Darcy had not only overcome his arrogance, but also proven his sincerity and responsibility through actions. And she, too, had conquered her prejudice, learning to see others objectively and set aside her pride to admit her mistakes. She sought out Darcy, confessing her feelings openly. "I misunderstood you because of my prejudice, hurt you because of my pride. I'm sorry for my ignorance. Through all this, I've realized you're the one worth cherishing." Hearing her words, Darcy was filled with joy and emotion. Looking at the girl who'd shed her stubbornness and prejudice, he replied gently, "I too was lost in arrogance, made mistakes because of class prejudice. You made me learn to reflect, to respect. Being forgiven by you, being able to spend my life with you, that's my greatest fortune." This time, there was no arrogant disdain, no barrier of prejudice. In each other's honesty and tolerance, they found true love. In the end, Darcy persuaded Bingley to return to Netherfield Park. Bingley confessed his feelings to Jane, and the two finally reunited. All the Bennet sisters found happiness, and Elizabeth and Darcy's love became a model of transcending class and prejudice. Through their mutual growth, they proved that love can break societal chains, and sincerity can resolve all misunderstandings. The ending of Pride and Prejudice is warm and satisfying, but its reflections go far beyond a love story. Through Elizabeth and Darcy's fates, Austen lays bare a universal human struggle, the coexistence of pride and prejudice, and the awakening of self-awareness. Darcy's pride came from the superiority of his class and his introverted inability to express himself. Elizabeth's prejudice stemmed from wounded pride and blind trust in appearances. These traits are not inherent evils, but inevitable human flaws, ones we all carry within us. Even today, we're surrounded by pride and prejudice. In the workplace, some look down on others because of their position, while others dismiss colleagues' abilities based on stereotypes. In life, we judge people by their looks or family background, or end relationships over a single disagreement. We're used to evaluating others by our own standards, defining the world through fragmented perceptions, forgetting that everyone has a hidden side, and that appearances can be deceiving. Just as Darcy was not cold and selfish, and Wickham not kind and gentle, we often see only what we want to see. That's the root of prejudice. At their core, pride and prejudice are self-centered ways of thinking, disrespectful to others and confining to ourselves. Darcy lost his first chance at love and hurt others because of his pride. Elizabeth misunderstood sincerity and nearly missed happiness because of her prejudice. Their growth lay in learning to step beyond their own limitations, to listen and reflect, to break down barriers with sincerity. For us modern people, this is a profound lesson. In a fast-paced, impetuous world, we need to let go of pride, set aside prejudice, and view others with tolerance, and the world with reason. When faced with conflicts and misunderstandings in relationships, we should practice patience and listening, avoid rushing to conclusions or clinging stubbornly to our views. Like Elizabeth, who didn't run from the truth after reading Darcy's letter, but actively verified it and reflected on her mistakes. Like Darcy, who didn't wallow in self-pity after the failed proposal, but confronted his arrogance and made amends through action. True maturity isn't never making mistakes, but learning from them and growing through misunderstandings. At the same time, Pride and Prejudice explores female self-identity and views on marriage. In an era when women were dependent on men, Elizabeth's perseverance proved that women don't have to rely on marriage for security. An independent personality, clear self-awareness, and sincere heart are a person's most precious treasures. This remains relevant today. No matter how times change, we shouldn't abandon ourselves to please others or society, nor equate happiness solely with marriage, wealth, or status. Like Elizabeth, who refused a loveless marriage and stayed true to her principles, we can find genuine happiness. Additionally, the novel exposes how class prejudice distorts human nature. Darcy initially looked down on the Bennets because of their class, while Elizabeth was more sensitive to Darcy's arrogance because of his nobility. This class divide still exists today, just in different forms. We may never eliminate class differences, but we can choose to break down class-based prejudices and treat everyone equally. After all, a person's worth lies not in their birth, wealth, or status, but in their character, responsibility, and sincerity. The book teaches us that human nature is complex. There are no absolute good or bad people. Pride and prejudice aren't terrifying. What's terrifying is refusing to acknowledge them or change. Throughout life, we're constantly getting to know and improve ourselves. Learning to let go of pride, set aside prejudice, treat others with sincerity and tolerance, and pursue happiness with courage and perseverance. That's the most precious wisdom Pride and Prejudice offers. Pride and Prejudice is like a cup of warm tea, plain at first sip, but rich with life wisdom when savoured slowly. It teaches us that love's true essence is mutual tolerance and growth, and that humanity's beauty lies in daring to face our flaws and strive to become better. In this impetuous, prejudice-ridden era, may we all be like Elizabeth and Darcy, letting go of pride and prejudice, listening to our hearts, and treating others with sincerity. May we grow in time and find warmth in companionship. No summary can replace the original work. A good book is worth reading page by page. I'm Paper Campfire. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to our next encounter.